Hey, today we're going to talk about how can you save some money by doing the API calls and using basically the latest models depending on the client task. And yeah, here let's go ahead and do a simple demo here. Okay, so it's already active, so let's go to the executions here. And then if we try, for example, what events be having tomorrow. So basically it's going to execute. We're going to do a deep dive later on, but if we check that, all right, yeah, tomorrow we have the following events, and then here we can see, for example, the events that I created random, basically just call 1 and call 2. And then you can see also in the Google Sheets here that we are exporting basically the timestamp, so the current timestamp here. Oh, here are both, cool. And also the input, output, and the model as well. Okay, so let's freeze that to make this much a little bit clearer. Cool, now you have that, amazing. So you can have control of what model you're using depending on the task. So let's go ahead and understand a little bit about each node. Now let's understand a bit about the nodes inside. Okay, so let's change that to be inactive, and then let's go and test here the Telegram, and then we can see everything that is inside. So basically it's a put here, basically it does workflow, and then say the same message, I think is fine. Then click send, basically, okay, we received that. Amazing. So we have a bunch of different fields here in this JSON. All right, and let's pin that. Okay, from the params here, why I'm doing this, just to make it easier to get from all the other nodes. And sometimes, like, I like to use, for example, the chat node as well. So basically you can always use one node here to make the reference to the following nodes. Cool. So basically we have that, and then let's go to the model picker here. So the goal here is to understand how, given the user task, how can we pick the best model explicitly, because we want to save some money, right? Like, you don't want to use like the latest models, basically like GPT-4 4.5 or even Claude 3.7 for everything. So yeah, that's the current goal. So the model picker is very straightforward. So basically we have the message here, in this case the message that we send, like what events I'll be having tomorrow, and then very simple prompt engineering here, having, for example, the role here as like an expert AI model responsible for selecting the best models for the user prompt, the thing that we discussed previously. Some instructions, very simple. Analyze the user request, return just the model name, the best address the task given, and then we have like the available models as well. In this case, we're just putting like 3 available models, but OpenRouter offer tons of different models. And finally, we have like some response format, which is a good practice as well. So, okay, return only with the following strings, for example. So Google Gemini, OpenAI GPT-4.1, 4.1, or Anthropic Claude 3.7 Sonnet. Cool. And then here we configure, for example, the max iterations here to 5. But yeah, I think that's very straightforward. Like, you don't need to use much more than 5 in this case. And then why we have code here? We have the model checker. Okay, and what the model checker basically does is make sure that the model actually, the agent actually picks a model, because that could output an error, right? So that's basically exactly what we're doing here. So if we see we have like the picked model, we're getting that, and then available models like the 3 that we already discussed previously, and then it's saying like, okay, let's check. So if the picked model from the agent is not in the available models option or list, basically you're going to pick the first one here and return basically this Python dictionary or JSON, like this one, model OpenAI GPT 4.1 mini. Perfect. Okay, so let's execute this guy as well. Amazing, executing. Now we have the main agent here, which is the executor. So this is going to execute exactly the task that the user is requesting. And if we go inside it, basically you have very simple again, basically the message from the user, what event I'll be having tomorrow, and then like some very simple prompt engineering techniques here, but basically the role, you're a helpful assistant that's going to answer the client prompt, use the tools to complete the task requested. This is the current day time here, you can format if you want as well, and finally some observations. So for the output, don't return any markdown character like hashtags. Cool. Why I did it? Because basically when I request, and I'm going to show, basically when I request the news, it's always going to put the markdown characters. I hate that, so I just asked the model not to do that. And here we have the dynamic model, which is going to get the model from the previous agent right here, the model picker. We have like a very simple memory here, okay, some key, it's very simple, and then we have like 4 simple functionalities, but you can definitely create much more tools here. So basically create event, get event, update event, all of them from calendar, which is basically my best use case and what I constantly and daily use. And finally a web search using Tablet here, and yeah, it's much cheaper than SERP from Google, and I pretty much like it. Yeah. And here you have to define, so basically the URL, the generic credential here, and then basically the tablet is very straightforward with barrier as well, and the token. And then here you just have to put, for example, the query, and then the model is going to provide the value here for the query, and also is required. That's important as well. Finally, so let's execute this guy, right? Let's execute. We can see, for example, the executor is working with the model picked, and then you can have like the events here. So yeah, cool. So the current prompt, it was about what events I'll be having tomorrow. So ideally, yes, the tool that would need to be used is basically the get events, and this is the one that the agent was actually using. And we can see, for example, the table here that the agent use exactly that. So we have simple memory at the beginning, cool, and then you have the model here, basically with all the things, getting all the different calendar events, basically, and then we have the events here, perfect, basically returning all. This is the input basically that the model is inputting, and the output is here. So okay, the model say return all, false, after and before, for example. The model is specifying this, and then as the output we have a bunch of things like all the different events that I have in my calendar. Cool. And then here is very simple as well, I already discussed about that. Cool. And then you have create event, same stuff, same pattern, basically start and end defined by the model, description and summary defined by the model as well. Finally have update event here, same thing, event ID, the model is going to pick that, description and summary, the model is going to pick. And then we have the web search here, which already went through, perfect. Now we have that, everything cool, and now let's run the update sheets. So basically it's going to update the current sheet here in the top, and we can see, for example, the timestamp, the input, output, and the model here. So basically we can see, yeah, the current timestamp, yeah, which is 8:24, cool, and then what events I'll be having tomorrow, and then the output here. Okay, so you're going to have like those 3 events actually here, which is pretty cool. And then we're going to have also the model here. That's amazing. And finally, we're going to return the message in the Telegram, right? So basically, this is going to say, you're going to have like all these calls, first call, second call, and third call. Amazing. Cool. All right. So other things that we can request. So this is like the walkthrough. And yeah, let's test a little bit more about, for example, creating event and finally doing a web search. Okay, so let's go ahead and activate this workflow, unpin the first node, remove the cache, and then we're good to go. So the execution is fine. Let's try it out. So basically hi, let's see what's going to be the response. is running right here, as you can see in the left panel. And then, hey, how can I see today? Perfect. Okay, and then it's already been added here, and it's pretty cool because it's using Gemini 2.0 Flash. Cool. All right, so let's go ahead and so basically let's go ahead and understand the current calendar I have. So I have like some 3 calls here. So let's request for the agent to create a new event between 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. Okay, so create an event for tomorrow between 12 and 1 p.m. with the title sports, which I kind of like to practice sports every kind of like in the noon. Cool. Okay, so it's running, amazing, and basically, yeah, ideally we're going to see here. Cool. Yeah, it already created here. So the sports between 12 and 1, amazing. So there was exactly another execution as well. So we can see that now it triggered the to create event, amazing. Now let's go ahead and understand we already did the get it events. Let's go ahead and test the update event here. So change the event name to sports 2. Let's see if it's going to pick also the we have an error here, interesting. Okay, reply markdown, the value is not supported. Okay, let's see the last one. Okay, so we have an error by saying anything, probably because we don't have the event previously titled. Okay, let's check that. So why we have this error here? Let's debug in the editor. Amazing. Okay, so we have this error, reply markdown. Reply, execute previous nodes to use this data. No, it's basically known. Let's try again. But anyway, like you can see that the model actually worked, right? It's now like the name with sports too. So let's go ahead and ask for sports 3 now. Let's see what the model is going to output here. So it's running, the event name, cool, amazing. Okay, so we can see, for example, that it succeeded here, and let's go ahead and see. But yeah, it changed from sports 2 to sports 3, which is perfect, which is exactly what we wanted. And also we fix together this error. Amazing. And finally, let's do a web search, right? So give me the latest AI news from today. Let's go ahead and type that. Let's see the execution here as well. Amazing, running. Let's wait a bit. Amazing, yeah. Here are the latest AI news highlighted from correct May 6. So OpenAI has abandoned its profit plan according to today's early news report, and yeah, all the latest news. And basically asking me, would you like more details, information of any news items? That's amazing. Okay, yeah, cool. So this was the workflow from today. Hope you like it.